they are the main meat of the article is that Microsoft is investing 80 billion into data centers for AI. That's the main point of the article. It's a shocking number because it's a large number.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. It is. I
And
mean,
a couple of things he mentioned. He said something about uh, the the different part of the infrastructure.
mhm,
So he said 40 billion is gonna go of this investment is gonna be in the U.S.
yep.
and also um, I think 40 billion is gonna be like international. So we are talking more about like um, buying GPUs, buying data centers, like the actual location of the data centers, buying energy to power those data centers. Um, what else? Buying all the cooling, all the, you know, all the server racks that you need to to build out those data centers, basically. He said some stuff about AI skill. Uh, Overall, to me, again, this is, I'm now diving into my own opinion about this article. Is There is a little bit of, you know, yeah, we want to do all this, but 80 billion is still a lot of money. He mentioned some stuff about China, and how the Chinese government is also investing, but he believes that the American can invest more because things are more private compared to the Chinese government. That's how they can beat, um, China. He also talked about, you know, selling this AI products all over the world so that they can dominate the field instead of China having to compete with them in different countries. So I feel, right, this is my personal opinion. I feel like some of this is being said to kind of, grease Trump a little bit, because Trump is all about business and, all these tech CEOs haven't been nice to Trump in the past. And now that he's coming back, they are all trying to suck up to him a little bit. And,
Yes.
Trump is all about business and investment. So they are saying all this because again, I'm diverting a little bit into my own opinion. And you listen to the, talking head or the analysts on CNBC and stuff like that. One of the things they mention is that, you know, even though they say they are going to spend 80 billion, they also mention that if they don't see the revenue, manifesting from their investments, then they will pull back. That means that it's not like 100% sure that they are going to spend this 80 billion. I think it's just kind of a shocking number to say so that people get interested. But that's where I am. I can say more, but I'm going to let you stop now.
Okay. I mean, the funny thing about this whole thing is that you diving into like the technical part a little, straight away just talking about data centers and stuff. I think that shows, your background as,
I'm
basically
biased, yeah.
yeah, in like tech. While me, when I read the article, it's all about the bigger picture because the first thing he said in at the beginning of the article is talking about comparing AI to electricity. So he
Right.
was making that reference where in the US back in the days when electricity was kind of discovered, how the whole economy benefited. And for me, that was a little bit kind of shocking in the sense that in my mind, I wasn't thinking that AI is gonna make as much as an impact as electricity. Can you imagine that? Do you see the reference, right?
Yeah, I want to let you talk more, but that's why I didn't even mention that part because
Okay.
to me, it feels like a metaverse deja vu, kind
Mm.
of.
I
when
see.
Mark
I see.
Zuckerberg wanted to change the name of Facebook to
Yeah.
Metaverse or
Yeah.
Meta,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was all about Meta. He invested like almost 20 billion in that project,
Yeah.
and basically he gained nothing. Like it was all money that was lost. But
Mhm.
the way he was speaking about it, presenting it such as like the next frontier in technology, and you have the same feeling here.
Yeah.
That's why I completely skipped, because I feel like I'm in the field, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like this is something to make the person who is not in tech and interacting with this
Yeah.
product every day kind of relate to what, like you said, the big picture is, right? And I'm using air quote here.
Mhm. That's not even relate. Like he's just
Yeah.
making us very, very excited, or just
Right.
you know, it's like now you have my attention, right?
Right.
So I mean, the way he's planning to achieve that, you talk a little bit about that. He's doing the whole thing in like three phases. So the first one is AI infrastructure, which is the stage in which we are now, which is basically investing a lot in the infrastructure and the things that you described as far as the data center and all those things, right?
Right.
And beside that, the second phase, he talked about AI skilling, meaning training, people to use ChatGPT and AI related products or services a little bit better so that they can, take advantage or basically work better, work more efficiently. And the third one is AI export, and that's basically fighting China, as you said. So those are
Right.
the things that he talked about. But as I told you, for me, the shocking bit, and here I'm talking about what I think of the whole thing. The shocking bit was that part first, like the electricity comparison, and
Right.
then after that, the infrastructure bit, where they mentioned the big amount, the 80 billion, and to me, really, I thought this whole infrastructure investment thing was going to kind of die down or decrease because last year, right, they invested quite a lot as well.
Yeah.
Not last year, but the previous 12 months. I think
Yeah.
Microsoft invested like 64 billion, Amazon
Yep.
64,
Right.
Meta 30, and then Alphabet, I believe around like 45 billion.
Right.
So that's 100, that's nearly 200 billion. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
And so far, I mean, on the consumer side, there is nothing beside ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, the revenue is not like there yet. So it's just a little bit difficult to see. But again, some people are comparing it to like the cloud thing. I forgot the name of the guy. I think was he Salesforce guy that invested like a lot in the cloud.
No, that's Amazon.
Amazon, exactly. Yeah, invested
Amazon
a lot in the
invested.
cloud, and then
Even Satya used to run the Azure Cloud department before he became the CEO of Microsoft.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, for me, right, since they are going to be investing the money, let's first think about like the best case scenario, meaning they invest the money, they found like a use for this product. How can like investors benefit from this? And me in my mind, what I was thinking is, what will be like the three best stock pick, or the three best stock that I usually invest in this case to um to kind of leverage this coming wave for AI. What's your what do you think of that? Like, do you have anything in mind?
So I know yesterday when I sent you this article, you are so excited you wanted to buy Microsoft stock.
Yeah.
So before
Which I didn't, by the way.
yeah, yeah. Before we even dive into that, I want to put some small things in perspective, right? I want to give out some numbers so that if someone is listening to this, they have an idea of where we are today with Microsoft and OpenAI. So, OpenAI has about 300 million weekly active users as of December 2024. Their revenue in 2022 was 10 million. In 2023, it was 200 million. And in 2024 is about 3.4 billion. That's how much they made. So again, let's go back a little bit. Microsoft invested 64 billion in 2024 or the last 12 months in AI and AI infrastructure, right?
Yeah. So wait, the 3.5 billion, is that the revenue? Do you
That's
have
that's
any
just for
idea of,
OpenAI.
yeah, do you have any idea of like their margin on that?
No, they are losing money. They are losing
Mm,
money.
that's just revenue. Okay, top line.
Yeah, that's just revenue. A little bit more deep dive. 75% of the customers using OpenAI, ChatGPT, meaning the people paying the 200 monthly subscription or the 200 the $20 monthly subscription, they 75% of that revenue is those people paying the subscription. 25% are from enterprise customers. So that means including the people who are using the ChatGPT, the OpenAI models through API access. And if we just want to boil it down just to the API access portion of it, is only 15% of total revenue, approximately 510 million annually. That's what they are making on the API access. So developers, basically. How does OpenAI, plans to grow? Because I feel like the whole AI mania is dying down a little bit. So this article saying Microsoft is gonna inject another 80 billion into this is gonna make it like come back alive, right? So on my side, I feel like the user growth at OpenAI is probably plateaued by now. Like they are not getting brand new users as they used to. And even if they are getting them, I'm not sure they are paying because they have a free usage of their
Yeah.
GPT-4o model. So their growth strategy is around consumer subscription. So which they are already doing, enterprise solution, they're already doing that as well, API access. Partnerships, so partnering with Reddit, Stack Overflow, some of those websites to have better answers and stuff like that. They are doing search as well. Uh, they and they are trying to build like coding stuff into the application. A
Hmm.
couple of small features that will make the product more useful. And the one that everyone hates on any products, advertising consideration. And for me, once they start doing advertising, you just know the top is in. Like they can make like it's gonna be extremely difficult from then going forward to one, improve the models,
Hmm.
or two, increase the user subscription. So
Why? Why are you saying that?
because if you look at any company, right, that that sells some kind of information and media, I want to give two examples. I'm going to start with Netflix. Netflix, at some point, they reach you know, their investors were unhappy because people were not subscribing to Netflix anymore.
Hmm.
So what did they do? They reduced some of the prices and they offered an ad option. So you watch, you pay like I don't know, $5. I might be wrong about this, but some lower fees, and then you get to watch Netflix and you pay ads. And I think they have even a free version of this in certain countries. And that has kind of helped Netflix to pull in more subscribers because some people will subscribe for like a month and then unsubscribe. But because of this lower option that offer ads, then people are like able to kind of stick around and pay the fee because it's not as high. Yesterday, Perplexity started showing ad,
Oh yeah.
and someone published it on Twitter, and some of the questions that Perplexity will suggest to the user were ad sponsored questions.
Mm, that's
You
not good.
see, and whenever you see something like this, that means that there is lack of growth, there needs to be revenue generation, and they are trying to find a way to generate revenue. Perplexity was the one, their CEO was the one saying, hey, 10 blue links. Nobody wants 10 blue links. It's going to be 10 blue questions, my friend.
Mm, mm,
Sponsored ad questions. So that's how I think about it. When a product is stalled, they run into these issues where they are trying to, like, find a way to grow. And this is what I think might happen to OpenAI if they don't grow any more
mm,
or any further.
mm.
Now let's bring it back to Microsoft. Microsoft has generated 10 billion during the fiscal year 2024 on all their AI products. That means both OpenAI, some of the AI solution that Microsoft itself is already offering, and some other software that they are selling. So it's not just OpenAI. Microsoft invested 64 billion, they made 10 billion. They are going to invest another 80 billion this year, and we don't know how much they are going to make. I hope it's more because they're investing so much.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
to me, it's not looking good.
based on what you said before, I'm just wondering, have you seen a major or a dramatic call, like a major kind of improvement in terms of like ChatGPT? I mean, for me as a user, I've seen some features being added to it. I mean, I wouldn't say they are as groundbreaking as when the first model came out, and in terms of like features and the improvement of the model, I wouldn't say that it has kind of skyrocketed.
Yep.
It's been growing, it's been improving, but very steadily.
Yep.
Not anything like out of this world. So I don't know, from your side, have you seen anything, or what's your kind of
Yeah. I-
understanding?
Yeah. I kind of have the same view and experience as you. Um, you know, on Twitter, there are a lot of developers who are interested in this. So they kind of get excited too much and kind of blows things out of proportion. But if you're only living in Twitter world, you would think that, AI is running like 1,000 miles an hour or something like that. Um, but as someone who uses ChatGPT like every single day, right? For me, I'm like, people are talking about O1, and I've used O1 quite like a couple of times. And sometimes I don't see how, like, if it's better or not, to be honest with you. Sometimes it's good for certain things, but most of the time, 90% of the time, like, it is as, like, 4.0 is as good as the O1 model. Now, this model is slower. That's another thing. It's a very slow model. Not only is it slow, but the context window on this model, I feel like, is not big enough. That means that when you are, this is my own personal opinion, as your conversation with the model grows, it kind of forgets what you spoke about, and when you ask it becomes very dumb all of a sudden. You feel like, oh, this is horrible. Let me just go back to 4.0, and that's what I've noticed most of the time. Now, late December, they announced like 12 days of like features. They announced a bunch of things. I have to say this. I like their search feature. I like that very much because it saves me a lot of time compared to Google. I barely use Google now. Maybe like once or twice a week, maybe, for because I just want to go straight to a site.
Mhm.
But apart from that, I barely use Google. So I do like their search feature. I think it's pretty good. I don't use Perplexity as much. Um, sometimes I use it when someone sends me a link or something like that, but I don't use it as much. I think I'm just very used to the ChatGPT UI. Um, what else is there? Can I? Yeah, the O3 model that they announced in January. End of December. They are saying that this model, one of the things that a lot of people are crying about on the internet is that this model is so good, like is better than the best software engineer, like some of the top software engineers in the world. To me, I don't really care. I already know how to write code. AI helps me write code faster. That's true. But, to me, you know, like how many people on earth are software engineers? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Like, if they really, really want to, you know, make an impact, they don't have to convince people who are already using the product. They need to convince people who don't want to use the product. So software engineers, they are already sold. We all love AI. We use it. But I think we are already paying the $20 a month. So it's like we are not like making it a better coder, or now everybody's talking about agents, where
Yeah, exactly.
agents, if you don't know what an AI agent is basically a an AI that has access to a bunch of tools. I'm calling them tools in quote. In software engineering, is just function calling. So you write a function to complete a specific task, and the AI has access to those tools or those functions.
Yeah,
And when you give the AI a task, it will look into the dictionary of tools that it has at its disposal and try to complete the task with the tool that is most appropriate. And once this task is completed, it's gonna evaluate if this is the correct thing that the user
yeah,
wanted.
yeah, yeah.
If it's not, it's gonna look through the tool set again and find another tool and run the this result with the this tool, and it's gonna do it kind of autonomously till it gets the right answer. And that's
Yeah.
what an agent is, right?
Mm, mm.
So
Sh-
everybody's talking about this. So that part, it makes sense to have an AI that is very good at coding because it can write code on the fly and run, try to execute this task or try to find a way to execute some certain task. That's all good and dandy, right? But here is where I think a lot of people, or most people, are kind of missing the bigger picture, is that if you're doing something that require a 99.9% accuracy, it's very difficult to leave it in the hand of the AI. And this is the hurdle that Microsoft, ChatGPT, Anthropic, any of these model builders have to go over. Because me and you, we are building a company. And one thing we've learned is that, you know, people who spend a lot of money doing research, for example, they want to be sure that what they're doing is correct. And because there is a lot of money on the line, they can't leave that, in the hands of AI.
Exactly.
And it's the same hurdle that most of these big companies are going to fight or convince people. And I think Microsoft is trying to push that down companies' throats.
Yeah, I
But
think
we will see.
to kind of recap, what you're saying, so that we agree is that also on your side, you haven't seen like a massive improvement, and in a way, these companies are actually missing the point by adding features or improving things on the AI that don't really make a huge change. Because the best thing to do would be to kind of continue improving the product so that the human behavior in terms of like guidance so that it reaches a point where it's a little bit, it is limited, like more or limited comparing to like how it is now, in the sense that now you still need a lot of kind of normal, or yeah, normal human being
Yeah, you
guidance
need, yeah, you need a human input
yeah,
at some point.
to make it happen. So I think it's
Yeah.
basically two things, maybe is either they've decided that okay, the point that we reached, this thing can't go more than that. And the second bit would be, how can we teach, human beings how to leverage this, and then
Yes.
identify like all the drawbacks of the AI, so that everybody stops, and we know that okay, this is what the AI can't do. This is how you have to guide it, and everybody should learn that. And let us, leverage, leverage this as best as we can. Because if, we just assume that, this thing is not going to evolve anymore, still at, the stage that it is now, it's still a good thing. It can
Yeah,
still
it
make
is.
a lot of impact, right?
Yeah.
So coming back to the stock question, I think you haven't answered that. I mean, what would be
Yeah.
your kind of top three picks?
So I'm gonna read a little bit, a quote or a couple of sentences from the uh the post that Satya Nadella made. He said something like, the massive data centers that make all this possible are being built by construction firms, steel and other manufacturers, and innovative advances in electricity and liquid cooling, all reliant on large number of skilled electricians, pipe fitters, including members of organized labor union. Together, all these groups have enabled the technology sector to become an economic backbone for the United States and the world. So, the reason why I picked this specific section is that you will hear that's why I also earlier mentioned the Trump thing, because you know by investing this money, Microsoft is going to create jobs in the US, and this is to please Trump. That's all nice. But I think a lot is actually hidden in these couple of sentences. And instead of giving specific stock, and we can again go into that later on, but I'm gonna give like sectors where um I think there is gonna be, an opportunity if this money is going to be spent. And you have to remember, if Microsoft is spending this money, that means that Facebook, Amazon, and Google are also going to spend this money. So you can multiply. Let's assume
Yeah,
worst case scenario.
by 3 or 2.5.
Exactly. You can multiply by 3 or 2.5. Yeah.
Well,
So,
just wait. So if you went the kind of sectors route, right? A
mhm.
lot of people will say, okay, that's actually easy, right? You just need to identify the sectors that will be involved and then name those sectors, right?
That's true. That's true. Right now, he's talking about construction firms, right? Construction firms that will build the actual data center, you know, um, buildings where all the servers will be located, right? So basically, you need to find companies that operate in that segment. And most of, I don't know, some people might not know,
Mm,
but I think we've done the research in the past, right? Where we actually, way before this became a thing, like this article was written, we were already on, you know, um, we are already making some research on what sectors will be affected by this. And I'm trying to bring up the research right now.
mhm,
So there is a sector in the stock market called data center REITs. So REITs, yeah, refer to like real estate investment. Um, and there is within the real estate investment industry or sector, there is a subgroup in that um, REIT sector that only focuses on data centers. And we identified like four stocks. One of them is Equinix. So the ticker symbol is EQIX. Then there is Digital Realty Trust, ticker symbol DLR. There is Iron Mountain, ticker symbol IRM. So those are the three data center REITs and infrastructure stocks that I will be looking at a little bit deeper, doing a little bit more research. And if you are interested in, learning more about this stock as well, like I said at the beginning, we have a company which is called Ask Charlie AI. Just go to askcharlieai.ai. Askcharlie.ai, my bad. Askcharlie.ai. And you can actually review some of the research we've already done on these stocks. So those are the first one that I will be looking at because that's where everything starts. Like if you want to buy all these Blackwell servers that nvidia is selling, these they are big boxes that occupy space. So you need to put these boxes somewhere, but it doesn't stop there. He also mentioned liquid cooling, or one of the thing with these servers is that they generate heat because they are running 24/7. So they need to be cooled because they have processors and GPUs and all that stuff. So they need to be cooled either through air or through liquid or water. One of the company that is really good at doing this is Vertiv Holding. I think I'm trying to look up the ticker symbol of Vertiv Holding. Vertiv. The ticker symbol is VRT. There are others, but this is one of the best performing one that I've seen so far. If you want more, or if you're interested, just write to us at support at askcharlie.ai and we'll send you some. We'll put you on a list and you'll be part of our newsletter and you'll get some more of these stocks. So that's for liquid cooling. So this Vertiv basically provides data center cooling solution for data centers basically. So and a lot of companies are actually using them. So if you see the performance of the stock, you'll see that it has performed very well this year. Very well. I think year to date. Let me check.
Yeah, I'm checking now. I think year to date it's been up 8%.
Yeah. And over the last 12 months, is up 175%. So that's very good. So you almost quadruple your money if you put your money into it at the beginning of 2024. So that's one of the stocks I'm looking at as well. And then there are other stocks that me and you discussed. One of the other things that people don't talk about a lot is storage, right? These companies or the AI itself,
Yep.
one of the things it does is it generates a lot of data. Not only do you need a lot of data to train it, but once it's trained and is inferring answers, it generates a lot of data, whether images, videos, or text. And one of the things that I think is gonna happen over the next five years is that the demand for, you know, data storage, as in, solid state hard drive, or even in memory computation, because as these models grow and require more parameters to run, the demand for high bandwidth memory, for example, is also going to grow. And right now, there are only three companies in the world that make high bandwidth memories. Like, one is uh, Micron, ticker symbol MU. The other one is Samsung, and the last one is SK Hynix. And the SK Hynix, I think, is a Korean company, I believe. Um, and that's what nvidia uses. They don't use Micron, but any other, like, I think Intel and AMD both use Micron. So one stock that is on our list is Micron. I think Micron is, like, the stock has been beaten down a little bit, and I think it will be a good thing to take a position
Yeah, no.
in this stock.
Yeah.
But again, this is not financial advice for anybody. It's financial advice for me and you, right? And there is one last one that I like as well, which is Pure Storage. Pure Storage also provides NAND flash storage for data centers, uh, and for, large AI, you know server clusters. And I think there might be growth in that company as well. So I'll
Yeah.
also put it on my list. So that's basically the companies, like the small companies, I think most people are not looking at or talking about, but those are the companies I'm looking at right now. There are more, but as far as just based on what the Microsoft CEO post,
Yeah.
uh, you know, those are the one that I'll
Yeah.
pinpoint.
Yeah. So, I mean, I totally agree with what you say. I just let you to kind of dive into them instead of me interrupting you, every single time. But pure storage for me is a really good one. I mean, I would have loved to kind of invest in this company maybe a year ago, because there are some videos on the net, a year
Right,
like in 2023 about pure storage, but I just missed
right,
them.
right,
Because I mean, obviously, I'm not in the tech industry, but people that are in there, they've been talking about it for a while now.
right,
Mainly because of their competitive advantage in terms of like them having like a leading technology in terms of storage, and also their software. So they have basically a software that can also help the data centers in kind of managing their storage so that they
right.
use storage efficiently.
Yep.
And it's just like I think it's a good company. So that's a good one. Micron as well. It's a little bit on the commodity side, Micron, because I believe there is no kind of strong competitive advantage there. Is a little bit soft there, but still they are well positioned. So I believe those are good. But in general, in stock, right, you usually have like limited money, and this is why I was
Mm-hmm.
pushing the top three.
Yeah.
Always have limited money. So let's say I were to have, I don't know, let's say someone were to have, um, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000, and want to pick, I don't know, two or three only. What will be your peak amount? The ones that you just talked about.
Hmm.
Because the
So,
investment is about like use of resources, right? Like you
right.
have limited resources and you have to use them really, really well to make the most of it. Right.
So,
I'm putting you in there.
yeah, you are putting me on the spot. Um. So first of all, what I'll do is go to askcharlie.ai, right, where the research is already
That's
made
a
for
shame.
you.
That's a shameless.
Shameless plug,
Shameless
right?
play.
And I will look at some of the stocks that we mentioned just now, and I'll look at the ratings that our software has provided on these stocks, right? Um, so Micron, for example, um, is a long-term buy from our research. The stock is beaten down a lot. I'll say I'll Micron will be one of the top picks for me because it's beaten down so much. So there is kind of intrinsic value that the whole market is not looking at, and that's why they beat down the stock basically. But again, I have a long term view. If I invest in a Micron, right, I have like a 3 years minimum
Mm, yeah.
view on this investment. The second one that I think will do even better than Micron is Pure Storage. The stock is not beaten down, but it's fair value right now. And I think there is a lot of room to grow for this stock. Over the next 12 months, I think the stock will still do well. So Pure Storage will be, to be honest, will be at the top of my list. The price is the valuation is fair, you know. So Pure Storage will be like number one, and Micron will be number two. Um, and my the top three, even though I didn't mention this before, um, let's say you have like just a little bits of money, right? Not too much money. I didn't mention this stock because it's not directly related to Microsoft. But the third stock I will buy personally is Google. The reason why is this. If you look at the performance of Google stock over the last 12 months, you see that the stock has underperformed compared to, the other magnificent seven. And but Google is catching up. Like if you see the video generation model that they came out with, it was beating OpenAI video generation by a mile, right? It was way ahead of it. They are getting better at their AI product. They launched Google Deep Search or Gemini Deep Search, which allows you to do really good research. I think the subscription is $20 a month, but there is an uphill battle because some people are already used to ChatGPT, and just like people are used to Google, it's gonna be difficult to make them switch to another product. But I think Google is catching up on the AI model front and getting parity with OpenAI. Number two is that Google has a lot of data and a lot of users. So they might be able to profit from this AI, innovation better than, you know, not better, a little bit better than Microsoft because they can use it in many of the things that they already do. And if you look at the growth of the Google Cloud offering compared to the other cloud providers like Amazon and Microsoft, the growth on the Google side, yes, Google is the smallest, cloud provider, but the growth is higher over there. So if that continues, that means the stock will keep rallying once people catch up that, okay, these guys are slowing down on their, cloud, offering, while Google is growing. So if I have to make, ultimate decision, I'll go one, Pure Storage. Number two is Micron, and number three is Google.
I was saying I think that work. I think I don't have any other thing to discuss. We've spoke for well 45 minutes already.
You didn't say, the stocks that you will buy. So if we
Yeah.
we have this chat next time, that will be my question to you.
Yeah, funny enough, you named the stock that I have in my pick. for the next year. The
Okay,
exact one that I bought like not long ago.
I see.
Just being very, very honest, like all I have, I don't buy many stocks. All I have is Broadcom. I added Micron, I added Pure Storage. I had Google long time ago. Um, and then Microsoft, but I've been trying to sell Microsoft for like ages. So those are exactly the pick that I have, exactly that you
Mm,
just named. So yeah.
I see. All right. This is probably gonna go on YouTube and um the podcast networks. If you like this kind of discussion, this is something new that me and Daniel are trying out. If you like this kind of discussion, make sure to comment so that we can continue doing it. If you don't like it, if you don't, we don't see any comment, we will basically assume that you don't like it, and we will keep this discussion to ourselves. All right. Thank you.